Frustration over coronavirus vaccinations. The state says people over 65 are now eligible for the vaccine, but the city of San Antonio says not so fast. Eyewitness News reporter Eric Ozuko explains why here in Bexar County, people in that group may not get their shots for a while.
Yeah, Metro Health says with just a few rare exceptions, the vaccine is really not readily available to that second tier, including people over the age of 65 or people with chronic conditions here in San Antonio, because of the amount of supply that's available. While the state says they are eligible, there may not be enough vaccine available locally. Metro Health says the city is still working on phase 1, prioritizing the first tier of Texans, including healthcare workers and people in long-term care facilities. They expect they'll have about 140,000 people in that first tier to vaccinate. However, there are some cases where someone in the second group may still be able to get a vaccine now.
With a few rare exceptions, that population is not yet able to be vaccinated. There are a handful of private providers who've received vaccine who I understand have reached out to some of their patient population to offer vaccine, but community-wide, that population is not yet at their point in the line.
Another exception comes if a vial is open and needs to be administered before it expires, and someone in the first tier isn't available for a shot. Bottom line, San Antonians older than 65 or with qualifying conditions aren't banned from getting them right now. Just don't expect many to be available. Some providers say when they start offering shots, it will be by appointment only. HEB, for example, says it's working on an online tool where people will be able to go and sign up for appointments. They expect to launch that likely next week. Reporting in the Medical Center, Eric Ozuko, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.